Alright, we're here at Giga-Bites Cafe. We have another battle report. Today we are playing Secure the Flanks, which is from the new tournament packet that Hawk War Games released about a month or two ago. It's just a variation from a lot of the standard mission elements. The deployment is in the corners, so I'll be starting over here, Brian will be starting over in that corner. These red objectives are standard objectives, so you need to put an infantry unit inside the building. They need to search and find the objective. If you find it and you have it at the end of the game, it's worth 1 point. If you manage to extract it all the way off the board, it's worth 2 points. Then we also have 2 focal points, and in the most recent tournament packet, they actually changed how these work a little bit. So now, if you, at the end of the game, contest the focal point with some sort of ground unit, you get 1 point. Any player who contests it gets 1 point. And then if you also happen to have the most amount of points in ground units near the focal point at the end of the game, you get 1 additional point. So 1 for contesting, 1 if you control. The most points wins. The tiebreaker is kill points. And all forces start the game in readiness, so there's no direct opponent.
Alright, so we decided to mix it up a little this week. Instead of playing my Shaltari, I'm going to play my desert-themed UCM. So I've got my command battle group with a Kodiak and a couple of longbows. Then I've got an expeditionary unit with just the Wolverines. Then I've got an infantry battle group with Condor and Bears. Then another infantry battle group with Ravens and Rapiers. Okay, then an armor group with more Rapiers and Sabers. And then finally an air group with just a pair of Archangels.
This is my PHR list, and I've tried to mix it up a little bit this week. My goal for this week was to try to make a viable tournament list with a Hades in it, so this is my first attempt. I've got a Zeus with a Counselor and an Enyo inside a Neptune with 4 Mercury drones, no transports, and a pair of Phobos inside a Neptune. I've got an infantry battle group with 2 squads of Immortals inside Tritons, no upgrades, and 2 Helios inside a Neptune. Then I've got another infantry battle group with two bases of Immortals inside a Triton, and a squad of Helios with a Neptune. And there's the Hades, not quite completely painted, but getting there, inside a Poseidon, and then 2 Tyrannus missile batteries. Start of turn 1, Brian won the roll-off, and his Archangels did not come on.
Alright, so I just activated my command battle group, drove the commander on, and then dropped the longbows off.
I activated my infantry battle group, put the troops in the building, and then deployed the Helios skimmers. And the reason I did this is because I'm worried that his Archangels will come on at the start of next turn, and I need to be prepared so he doesn't shoot this down.
Okay, so I brought in my first infantry battle group, went for broke, brought in these guys. They can't deploy yet, they used all their move, and then went ahead and deployed my AA.
Alright, pretty much same as my last deployment. I put the infantry up here, disembarked them into the building, put the Helios down to protect against the Archangels next turn.
Alright, so I brought in my second infantry battle group on the Condor, Bear here, and the infantry into this building, and then second Bear over here. And,
infantry still inside?
Infantry still inside, yeah.
I brought on my armor battle group, which just has AA in it, and put the Phobos here. Again, setting up a really tough screen for his Archangels so they don't have a lot of good shots.
Alright, just activated my expeditionary group, brought in some Wolverines that just basically drove on.
Okay, I deployed my command group over here with my Zeus and my Enyo, and I put my Mercury drones right here so that they can assist with the search next turn.
Alright, so I brought in my armor group in the Albatross, and they're staying in the Albatross. So,
Alright, I activated my heavy group, and I brought my Hades on here, but I decided to leave it in the transport. Because if you look at his Albatross, he hasn't deployed either, and I want to make sure that the Hades is able to engage whatever comes out of there.
yeah, that's what you think.
And just quickly, I forgot, I also deployed my Tyrannus missile batteries back here in the corner. Start of turn 2, Brian has won the roll-off and elected to go first, and 1 Archangel has come in from reserve.
Alright, so I activated my expeditionary force and moved the Wolverines up.
Alright, I activated my armored battle group. The two Phobos shot at this Raven here because he accidentally left it just a little bit too far around the corner of the building. I rolled 6 shots, 4 hits, and then I needed a 3-up on any one die to kill it. Didn't get it. Rolled 2s and 1s. And then my Neptune shot at this building and missed.
Yeah. Talk about some bad dice rolling. Alright, so since I didn't want to push my luck, I decided to activate this infantry battle group as soon as possible and get the lucky bastards into this building. And then their associated AA just moved up.
Alright, activated my infantry battle group with 2 squads. They searched for the objective on a 5-up with the aid of the Mercury drones. Didn't find it. I decided to move them into this building. Then I moved my Helios squad up here, used a countermeasures hack, and shot his Albatross over there because it's within their 36-inch non-countermeasure range. Did 3 damage points to it, and then I had my Neptune fire its stealth missile at the building, do 1 damage, no damage to it.
Alright, so I deployed my armor group. Tanks are main battle tanks here, and then 2 of the sabers over here, a 3rd one over here. And,
Rapiers, you mean, right? The AA ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then 5 shot at that building, put a couple points of damage on it, no falling masonry.
That was with the Albatross's missiles.
Yeah, it's a missile.
Activated my heavy group, put my Hades down here, shot 1 shot with the Poseidon, didn't do any damage to the building, and then shot my Tyrannus, also at the center building, and did no damage.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group. I redeployed the longbows up to here. And then my commander took a shot at the Hades, hit it, and put 1 damage point on it.
Yep, he needed a 5-up. Alright, so I activated my command group, had the Enyo shoot the building, did 4 damage to it, killed 2 infantry from falling masonry. I had a stealth missile shoot the building, it did nothing. I had the Odin shoot his lead tank, I hit it and did not damage it.
I activated my 2nd infantry battle group. They searched, didn't find anything, and then this bear just moved up.
I activated my infantry battle group, searched, again with the help of the Mercury drones, did not find anything. Moved my Helios skimmers up, and moved my transport, my Triton over there.
Okay, so they each get an extra attack.
Alright, this was a bit fail. I don't know why I'm talking when it was his activation, but I'll do it anyway. The Archangel came on this way, shot the Triton over here, and managed to not hurt it. And then the Archangel came here and had 2 Helios unload on it with reaction fire, and they didn't manage to hurt it. So just a lot of nothing.
Yeah, that's right. A lot of nothing. Typical PHR.
Turn 3, Brian won the initiative roll-off. He played a, oh, it's not focusing, there we go, an intel report, which shows what my hand is. So he got to see my hand, which is this, for viewers out there. And his other Archangel came out of reserve.
So I just had the Wolverines move up.
Activated my heavy group. Hades moved around the corner. It was just barely out of range to fire the black nanomachines, which is unfortunate because they were really bunched up and I could have hit a lot of guys. So I used the white nanomachines and repaired the 1 damage it had. And then I fired my rail cannon. I hit 2 guys, and then I used assisted targeting and re-rolled the miss, hit a 3rd guy, and then I managed to kill 2 tanks. The Poseidon here shot the building, did nothing. The Tyrannus shot, another one of them missed again, but the remaining one did maximum damage, did 6 damage, and I did 2 more damage to that infantry base.
Alright, so I activated this infantry battle group. They searched again, still didn't find anything. And then I had the tanks move up.
The rapiers there.
Rapiers. Had 1 fire at this building, did a little bit of damage. Had another one fire at this Neptune, did some damage. And then I had this one fire at the Triton, and I was able to kill it.
Alright, I activated my command group. The Enyo shot this building. I've managed to miss buildings 4 times in this game, and 3 of them have been with demolisher weapons, which is kind of unfortunate. He did 2 damage to it, did 1 damage to the infantry base. Stealth missile fired at the building, also rolled really well, did 2 damage, or 2 damage to the building, 1 damage to that base there. And then the Odin fired at the Sabres over there, rolled a 1 and missed. And Mercury Jones moved up. That's it.
Okay, so I activated my armored group. They took some pot shots at the Hades with the Sabres. I did some damage.
2 damage.
And then I had the Rapiers go ahead and shoot at this building. Put a little bit of damage on it, damage the squad a little bit. And then the Albatross took a pot shot at that building as well.
Activated my infantry battle group, searched the building, they needed a 4-up, they failed. The Helios skimmers moved over here a little bit, saved their shots, and their dropship moved back here, shot the building and missed the building.
Okay, so I activated this infantry group, they again searched, still didn't find anything, and then I just moved up this transport here.
I activated my Phobos unit, I picked them up, did a short hop over here, deployed them again so they're near the focal point, and shot the building and missed it again.
The gentleman in question because they are protected.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group and called it in on the Hades. I missed. I then played my assisted targeting, knowing full well that Cameron's going to use the espionage, so I basically just burned up his espionage. And then I just moved the longbows up from here over to here.
Alright, I had 1 Triton left here. I loaded up the infantry and I moved them to try to get them into the center building. And he had fired every single one of his rapiers over there, so I didn't have to worry about reaction fire. But unfortunately, I should have moved him to about here, because that would have been out of range of his Wolverines within an inch of the building. But I didn't. I moved it to here, just a little farther. That got him in range of 2 Wolverines. The 2 Wolverines blew up the Triton with reaction fire. I rolled a 6 on the damage table, so it exploded in the air. All the infantry died, and that's it. So I guess after that, I decided to use my Helios skimmers. They fired all the shots at the building, managed to do 5 damage to it, so it's only got 7 damage points left, and killed some infantry with good falling masonry rolls.
Alright, for the last activation, brought in the Archangels. Only 1 was available to come in. It did its run, missed the Triton, and then actually managed to survive the Helios fire, so I was pretty surprised by that.
So yeah, that's now survived 4 shots of 4 Helios worth of reaction fire. This reminds me of another battle report I did. Start of turn 4, Brian won the roll-off again, and nobody played any cards.
Alright, so I did my infantry search, missed it yet again. I played Soldiers of Resistance to get back a DP on one of the bases.
Yeah, just one guy.
Just one guy. And then I shuffled the Rapiers over, took some shot at his Helios, and managed to destroy 1 outright.
I had a really tough decision to make. I ended up activating my infantry battle group who was in here. They needed a 3-up with the Mercury drones to find the objective. They got it. They got in the Triton, which amazingly was still alive, got off the table. So I got that objective. The Helios moved around here. One of them shot his Raven, who was back there, just picked up a kill point, and the other one shot the building, did 1 damage.
Alright, so I activated the second infantry battle group. Searched again, had no effect whatsoever. Brought the transport back over to here, moved this bear around a little bit further back, and that was it for that battle group.
So my luck definitely caught up with me. The Hades activated, it fired the black nanomachines, managed to hit 3 tanks underneath it, killed 1, it was a Rapier, and then it fired its rail cannon with strafe and killed 3 Sabres. So it had an awesome turn.
Yep.
This Poseidon missed the building, and these Tyrannus back here shot the building and did 4 more damage, and managed to do 5 damage to the infantry bases with falling masonry.
Alright, so the building at this point only has 2 damage point left.
Yeah, because we're playing with tournament rules where they only have 30 damage in large buildings.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group. Had the longbow take a shot. I managed to kill one of his Phobos, and they just moved their dropships around here because it's getting to be pretty dense AA-wise. And then I had the commander take his shot against the Hades, and he whipped it.
Yep. Activated my command group. The Enyo only did 2 damage to the building, but that was enough to finish it off. So the infantry in there are dead. The Odin, finished off the last Saber over there. Sorry, that's not Odin, this is Zeus. And my Mercury drones moved up.
Alright, so I activated my armor group, or what's left of it. The Albatross took a shot at the Hades and missed. And then these rapiers moved up and killed the Helios back here.
I activated my Phobos group, killed a Wolverine, couldn't see his ravens unfortunately, and hid my dropship back there.
Alright, so my final activation is the Archangels. Came in, shot at one of his Helios, he blew his white nano machine. I got 3 hits, he didn't make none of his passives, and none of my hits did any damage, so...
A whole lot of nothing. I activated my last infantry group. I played a Call for Extraction card, so they now have a transport again. And they just stayed in the building, and the Neptune that was here for the Helios, which are now dead, is running away.
Alright, so moved up the Wolverines, and that was their entire activation. Alright, so one initiative, again this time, I decided to discard all my cards and drew 4 more, and that's where we're at so far.
I played Adaptive Camouflage on my Helios skimmers, and I rolled for reserves for my infantry squad, and they did not come on.
Alright, so I activated my command battle group, had the longbows fire, and had the ravens fire. I managed to kill that final Phobos.
And your Kodiak.
And then I had my Kodiak go ahead and scoot away.
Because he was worried about my Hades.
Yeah, that Hades was throwing a beat on him.
Alright, activated my heavy group, another highly successful turn for the Hades. Dropped the black nanomachines and killed a rapier, and then fired its rail cannon and killed 2 more rapiers. And fired the Tyrannus missile batteries at the building over there, and rolled double 1s to damage, so nothing did.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group. They have searched every single turn from turn 2 through now turn 5, and still have not found that objective.
Failed it on a 3-up.
Unreal. And they scooted this bear around. That's it.
I activated my infantry battle group, which had these Helios skimmers. They moved over 6, fired some shots at the Wolverines here, didn't hurt them at all. And then this one did not fire because it's waiting to intercept the fast movers.
I used some strategic thinking here and activated the Archangels to make a run on his AA, and he shot it down before they could do any damage.
We're going off the recent FAQ on the forums that said that when you have a reaction fire and a fast mover with the same range, that the reaction fire goes first. So I just shot him down. I activated my armor group that the Phobos used to be in. Their Neptune was hiding back here. I moved it off the board.
Alright, so I activated my second infantry battle group. That was the Raven that was hanging out here. It's now fled off the board. And then this Condor picked up a Rapier that was over here and is moving it over here.
I played my infantry battle group. I played a secret entrance card on them. And they got out, walked, and then I guess got into a manhole like in the sewers and went back into the building. So now they're over here and they can be in range for that focal point.
Alright, so I activated my armor group, which is basically just this Rapier. Had it move over to here, and then this Albatross took a pot shot at the Hades and did no damage.
I activated my command group, put them into their Neptune. Neptune moved up, he used his last Rapier to reaction fire it. Managed to do 2 damage points. It really made me sweat, but it's still alive. And then I dropped them off here, so they're near the focal point.
Alright, last thing to activate was the Expeditionary with the Wolverines. They moved up. There was a Neptune hanging out back there, took their shots and took them down.
Top of turn 6. I actually won the roll-off this time, and nobody played any cards. I activated my infantry group with these 2 Helios skimmers around the corner there, and they blew up both of the Raven Bees that were transporting the longbows.
Alright, so I activated my command group, had the longbows and the Kodiak both take a shot at one of the Helios and just barely managed to kill it.
I activated my infantry group. I had them go to the walls to make it harder for him to disembark the contents of that bear into the building. And this one took an odd sniper shot at the rapier and rolled a 6, shaped charge. So the rapier blew up.
Alright, so I brought in my fast mover, came in here, took his shots, and put 1 damage on that Helios. Almost took it out.
I activated my heavy battle group, moved the Hades up here, shot the black nanomachines indirectly using the Mercury drones as a spotter, and actually managed to get a little lucky. I blew up his bear, and one of the infantry bases died in the explosion, the other 2 are out there. And then he had an open shot with his rail cannon at a longbow over here, so I blew that up too.
Alright, so I activated my infantry battle group. Finally, on the last turn, they found the objective. So they jumped into the bear dropped into the condor, and the condor flew off. Alright, my last activation was the 2nd Infantry Battle Group, which basically I brought this condor forward, got the rapier out, and it was just barely close enough to be within range of the focal point.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. Alright, we're at the end of the game, and this actually ended up being a lot closer than I was expecting because of that last move there. So, to recap, this objective, I extracted it, got 2 points. This one got blown up, nobody got it. Brian extracted that one, got 2 points. This focal point was clearly mine. I had the Hades and my commander and another heavy walker there. But those infantry did manage to contest it just barely, so we got 1 point for that. I got 2. And over here, I had that one until the very, very end when he landed that rapier within, it was like a ½ inch, just barely, of being in range of the focal point. And he barely managed to actually win it. So he got 2 points and I got 1. So we're actually tied up, I believe, 5-5. Came down to kill points. He had about, that's about 450 kill points there. It doesn't look like much, but those AA units are expensive. And I think his tank blocks, like between the rapiers and the sabers, that's about 440. And then I killed 5 bases of infantry. We didn't tally it up completely, but I did get more kill points. So it looks like I won this one.
Yeah.
So I guess thoughts on the scenario, first off. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's a really fun scenario. It's a combination of both objectives and focal points. So you do tend to be a bit scattered. And the fact that you're coming in from the corners definitely changes up how you're moving through the city. So that was unique. As far as the game itself went, that Hades is brutal. And I was actually trying to avoid it. I think the probably better thing for me to do is instead of trying to contest it with my armor group, have him swing back around over to here. He still would have stomped across the board and probably put a pretty good hurting on him. And I think the results would have been the same as far as the objectives go. But I think there would have been a difference in the kill points, which is ultimately what decided the game.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't have been able to kill as many.
Yeah, and knowing that Cameron normally takes his fast movers in his PHR list, I actually brought a pair of interceptors. I'm not sure that was the most efficient use of points, but it did work out fairly nicely. I was able to have a couple of transports and take out some of his AA even with just the interceptors.
So I guess scenario first. The way this works is since the focal points only matter at the end, you sort of work your way up the corner and deal with the objectives in the first part of the game, and then in the last part of the game you sort of refocus and go to the focal points. Now PHR is so slow that I had to think from the start what my strategy was going to be, and the big thing I needed was I didn't want my Hades to get stranded somewhere. I wanted to use it to kill his tank block. And I managed to do that really well. I managed to get that countermeasure hack off on his transport to force him to deploy his units. And then that was able for me to have the Hades take on his tanks. And then actually even the tank fight went really well because the first turn of the tank fight, I was behind the building so he couldn't see me. He activated first and then I was able to pop out and get a free shot on him. And then the next turn, he was worried about his infantry elsewhere on the board. So I actually got the first activation on that turn too. Blew him up a bunch. Then he shot me back, did his 2 damage. And then on the next turn, I got the jump on him again. So that tank fight went really, really well for the Hades. I killed I don't remember, it was like 6 sabers and 5 rapiers. That was ridiculous. That was really, really ridiculous. Now, I really thought I was going to win this focal point, and honestly, I got a little bit sloppy. Now, he did have a bunch of AA units over here, but I had at least one more infantry group that was off the board. And if I was really thinking straight, I probably would have tried to get that infantry group there. They weren't really necessary for this focal point. Now, I might not have known that earlier, but maybe transported them over there to help, and I had another infantry group in reserve. They didn't come in on turn 4. They might have, I think I stopped rolling for them, but theoretically I might have been able to sneak them in the back here and get them into the building maybe, and then they could have added the points and I could have won that, and I would have gotten a bigger win, and it wouldn't have come down to the kill points. I mean, as it was, I'm obviously still happy with the win. Although, honestly, I got a little lucky because he didn't find this objective in the middle. You rolled for it on 6s and on 5s with 2 squads.
Yeah.
And one of the downsides to this list is that it doesn't have as much infantry, and he definitely had the infantry advantage. So I was scared of getting into a CQB. He stayed bunched up, and I couldn't really deal with that. Now, as it turned out, I don't know. I don't think I had a really focused infantry strategy. That was probably the biggest flaw in my plan. I could have used my infantry better, and I had to rely on luck to prevent him from getting that objective there. Other than that, I think this was kind of a classic PHR mission. With the PHR, they're really slow, and you need to deploy well, or else you'll really be in trouble. And in this case, I managed to match up my guys against his guys, and that was able to get the Hades to engage his tanks, position relatively well, and that was enough to win. So. Anyway, do you have any other thoughts? I mean, I definitely like this mission. I think it's a good addition to the tournament packet.
Yeah, it's definitely a good mission, and this is the first time I've played the UCM in quite a while, and I'm actually fairly pleased with how the list was built, how it turned out. A little unlucky and not getting that center objective, but overall I'm pleased with the list itself. That Hades, well, that's brutal, and I don't know that the UCM could have dealt any better with it. Maybe by taking some heavies, but given the fact that that thing can self-repair and whatnot, the best thing to do with that is either to try and take it out with airstrikes or artillery, or just avoid it.
Gunships, Ferrums,
Ferrums,
I think the best strategy though is just to isolate it, to give it, get it stuck in a corner and not engage it directly.
Right.
So.
And in a mission like this, a focal point mission where it's just going to trundle forward, you have to decide if you really want to get that objective or not. I wound up getting, one of the 2 focal points, which is about what I expected as soon as I saw the Hades. So.
Yeah, no, I think I'll make a couple modifications to my list. The Tyrannus were okay. I ended up having enough Demolisher to take out that center building, which ended up being crucial to the mission, but I might end up swapping them for some Sirens, just because I think I need a little more infantry power in this list. I'll play around with this some more. But overall, I'm pleased. I think the strategy of having Mercury drones and then 2 indirect firing units, the Tyrannus and the Hades, worked out pretty well. It was very points efficient, and it gives me command radius in multiple places on the board. So, I didn't have to take a very high commander. Obviously, that hurt when I was rolling to go first, because I didn't go first very much in this game. And one other thing I would do is I would split the heavy battle group into 2 separate battle groups, because right now I only had 5 battle groups. And when I was trying to make Brian make a move first, that meant that I didn't have a lot of tools to do that. It'd be much better to have 6 battle groups, so then I could activate the ones I don't want, try to force him to make his move, and then react to it. That's about all I can think of. You got anything else?
No.
All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.